I am currently recording with two girthy individuals. If you can't tell by all the breathing taking place around me, trust me, there's some girth going on in the room. So that's why I'm talking about Fraternity of Girth, fogapparel.com. They make clothes for these guys, for the girthy among us. The people that love comfy clothes, good designs. I flew on an airplane all day today with the pirate captain, Hayden Ballia, the founder, the CEO of Fog Apparel. He breathed pretty normally, honestly. It wasn't like his previous podcast appearances. His breath was under control. The only time he started breathing a little harder was when he got real excited talking about the new drops that are coming for Fog Apparel. So, new drops coming all the time. Keep checking the site. Keep listening here. Use code HEAVYLIGHT. You're going to save 10% at fogapparel.com. HEAVYLIGHT! I'm going to keep the headphones on so I can hear how badly we're doing at this.
Oh, that sounds perfect.
Yeah, no, talk quieter though, Thor, for sure.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Hey, everybody, who am I?
You'd like to welcome Hayden back to the podcast. You get to witness it in person today.
I did. It was a good witness, though, and I hadn't met Mr. Hayden ever. He's actually a really nice guy. But, man, does he breathe heavy.
that guy just breathes professionally. Like we went from Hayden and I ended up flying together today.
Did you have to sit next to him?
I did. So you know how he's the name of his company is Fraternity of Girth.
Yeah.
He takes that real seriously.
He's doing it.
He's living that life. And he said, we got an exit row on the first flight, and he said, like, I like getting the exit row because of the leg room. And he's the first person I've ever seen that when he means leg room, he doesn't mean front to back leg room. he needs lateral leg room to get into position.
There's that latitude. Latitude. He needs latitude.
Yes. And he's so warm because he's so big. He's easy over 300 pounds. He's just and like I was just sitting there sweating next to him, curled into a ball. Because you can't do the thing like, all right, man, see you later. Like once you meet up in the airport terminal, it's like you're
hitched.
Yeah, you're gonna sit.
You're together.
He's
the Italian Zach Riley.
Italian Zach Riley.
he's Zach Riley with sage.
Zach Riley with a lot more cannoli.
Sage and marinara. But I got to meet Mr. Hayden. I'd never met him before. And generally, people who you make friends with and I meet, I don't like because I'm protective.
Mm-hmm, that's true. Yeah.
But this was not the case.
Protective or jealous?
That's the same thing, right? Yeah, I'm protective because I'm jealous.
He's got envy, jealousy, protectiveness, psychopathy, all of it wrapped up. He's got all that stuff.
All those things. But I know it was actually Hayden was pretty disarming. It seems like he's genuinely nice guy.
He's got those green eyes that just pierce through you.
Green?
Yeah, what? I think they are. They look green to me, and he's got Thor level eyelashes.
Oh, that. Ooh.
Yeah, that's it. And you know that. You know the power your eyelashes have.
I do.
You're aware of that. And
It's a minor superpower. It is one, but it's a small one.
I would attribute a lot of the success in your life to those eyelashes, honestly.
And my brow game is pretty strong too.
Yeah, you do have a strong brow game. I think that's what the kids like about you so much is they can read a lot from the brows.
Yeah, because I don't talk a whole lot, so that's what they.
That's what they got.
That's what they have to work with.
For a light-skinned feller like the rest of us here, but
don't go racial.
No, I'm not going racial. Right, but and you have a blonde. I'm looking at a very blonde beard. You still have very prominent eyebrows, which is usually you don't get those. Right?
Yeah.
You usually don't have like the white and blonde hair with striking eyebrows.
There's beard touching going on.
Like if you look at me, I have a reddish beard and no eyebrows.
Same. So, fair enough, and I 100% agree. Did you ever used to have eyebrows as a younger man? I did.
See, I didn't.
They just left.
There's evidence of me having. If you look at in high school, back when we met, that I had like Thor-type colored eyebrows. They were like a real color. Now they're just transparent.
No, mine. They never came in, and maybe one day, maybe second puberty.
Yeah, maybe you get that 50-year-old puberty come in. All of a sudden,
I don't have them.
I just
Thor's got them though.
I was the typical Icelandic baby of having completely white hair. But I always had dark eyebrows, even as a toddler.
So you were making all these same facial expressions when you were 2.
Oh, yeah.
I would like to think so. Yeah, I believe so.
Why would I change?
That's true. once you nail it, once you nail down what you're going to be, and we talk about this all the time. I did mention it. Kids love Thor. I don't.
They do.
I don't understand it. You don't have kids of your own yet,
No.
but I've never seen somebody that doesn't have kids that is so automatically good. And since I've known you since you're in your 20s, maybe late 20s or something like that. And the first time I saw you with kids, you're in your 30s, and most guys in their 30s without kids have no clue what to do with a child.
They look very awkward.
Yes,
right, and somewhat terrified. In fact, I was.
Yeah.
Even with meeting Evan for the first time too. I didn't know what to do, what I was doing, but I think Thor is very very naturally. You have a paternal instinct.
Maybe. All right, I'll take it.
Yeah.
But I like telling a story about.
What you do is just pick them up and make faces at them and just play with them.
But it works.
It
but
works
but
like a charm.
Everyone can't do that. Everyone just can't make a face at a baby, and they're like, "Whoa, well, this is fantastic! I love you." But with
still get better brows, man.
with Aveline and it was Loch Norman last year. So when we were in Charlotte and we were in Hendersonville, who's that? It was Jess's house. And Aveline was there, and she was just enthralled with Thor from the start.
Is this when she sat on my lap and then I was sick for about 2 weeks afterwards?
So the story I was going to stretch out for about 2 minutes, Thor just told in 2 seconds. So
in the most Thor method possible. It's get to the ending where this part happens? Okay, cool.
So long story short, Aveline was just loved Thor, the game. She was excited to see you, and it was really great. And that's one of the things, sidebar, as you learn as a father. A young father, generally, you're somewhat threatened by it, and you're like, well, why not me?
Yeah.
At that point, I was already a year plus or whatever into it, so it's like
you were already tired.
Yeah, it's fucking great. Aveline is entertained, she's happy, and she's really excited to be where she's at.
I'm gonna take these 15 seconds to just be in my own fucking thoughts.
I'm gonna go
for
take
a minute.
The stinkiest dump in this Porta John by myself and just scroll through
It's
Instagram.
a little piece of heaven.
It's great.
Yeah, taking a stinky Porta John dump at a festival, not unbothered.
Fantastic.
Oh, it's great.
Untethered to my fatherly responsibilities. But so flash forward, it was maybe less than 12 hours later, you're as sick as you've been in quite a while.
Oh yeah, I was shitting every 45 minutes for I think 15 hours straight.
And normally that's only in the couple hours before you compete. Is you?
The fear dumps. Yeah,
those happen regularly.
Those are natural.
But if they continue on for 12 hours, you should see a doctor.
No. I mean, if you're peeing out of your butt that much in a 24-hour period of time, you should probably go see a doctor.
Yeah, there's an acceptable
Did I? No, I didn't.
No, of course you did not.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of seeing a doctor, how about that grocery store trip?
I don't even want to talk about that.
Jesus Christ. So Aaron and Thor, while we're gathering groceries, also still, we're all an average age of, 65 here. Not a mathematician, but we still...
I don't know if I want you to share this. This is embarrassing.
We still buy groceries like we're 17 at the grocery store for the first time. We came back with bananas, chocolate milk,
oranges, cereal, the most delicious Cheez-Its you could ever imagine.
For the sake of
what, the
everyone.
Groovies?
Yeah, Groovies.
How did you not know about the Groovies?
I didn't know.
Are they a
the
Cheez-It product?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're a Cheez-It
They're
variant.
a name brand.
I'm not girthy or fat in any way. I don't understand food the way you guys do. I don't appreciate
Well, that's
it.
hurtful.
No.
This guy's on a diet.
Yeah, I'm not on a diet. I have
all-vegetable
changed
diet.
the way that I eat. It's not a diet.
I've been changing the way
I'm
I
an
eat.
ovo-lactic
I've been eating.
vegetarian.
Ovo. Can I have some ovos on my salad?
So
Aaron and I went into a competition to see if the guy that's been doing a vegetarian diet or the guy that's been eating about 3 pounds of beef a day.
Carnivore diet.
Yeah.
The carnivore.
With Cheez-Its on top of it. So
right.
It's,
Groovies.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is different.
And then we went to a blood pressure competition in the little meter thing that you can't really stick your arm into because they're usually too small.
Right.
Or your arm's too big.
Yeah. That's
Okay,
just...
I'll take
Because
it.
those machines are for big, fat people.
Yeah, that's
to check
true.
their blood pressure at a grocery store.
Okay.
So you're saying you're too jacked for society.
Sure.
Okay.
I will say that the microphone is not picking up on how jacked Thor is right
It's
now
true.
because
I've been working.
this is a big Thor, and this is
Yeah.
not like
This is about the heaviest I've ever been.
it's not all soft.
You're not a half Thor, but you're like a good quarter Thor right now.
This isn't quarter less than half.
Yeah, because you're not as big as half.
But it's okay.
I want you first off. You need to go back to the blood pressure.
He's trying to tap dance
I
away
know.
from it. I
Let's
think.
talk
He was happy to.
It wasn't good.
I didn't win unless we were going for a high score.
Depends on what your metrics are. Yeah.
I
Eric-
like to say that I think the machine was off.
Yeah, it was mine. It had me a little high. It was higher.
I think
than
it had
used
us
to.
all higher than we thought we were going to be.
Yeah, but mine was a little high. Maybe I should add some vegetables. To my diet.
Hey, do you want to like relax and recline while we do this podcast? Do you want?
No, I think my heart's doing okay right now.
Think so? Okay, don't. You're getting all red in the face. I want you to.
His
I think
eyebrows
that's
are
how-
still popping.
That's just
good.
That's just how you are now.
Yeah. So Aaron had a score of
Score.
his score.
Such
So-
fucking meathead shit right here.
Mike had the lowest at 122 over 85.
But he's
Which is
hyperhydrated because he's trying to lose weight.
He is hyper, so it should be lower. I feel like it should have been lower
Yeah,
than
it
that.
usually
I
is.
was 130 over
80,
like 80,
something,
like 82.
Yeah.
Which is it's higher than I would like. I felt like it should have been better. In my defense, I've been drinking for 5 hours.
Yeah, good
And
defense. Good
alcohol,
defense.
well, is not great for blood pressure.
In my defense, I have terrible health habits.
Yeah. In my defense, outside of eating plants, I make poor decisions.
Right.
And I hit
And
an
what was yours?
all-time blood pressure PR.
Mark it.
What was it? 168 over 90.
98.
98. Yeah, there we
Yeah. Is that a weight class PR? Or is
I think that's
I'm
an
sure it's
everything.
not.
We
PR.
measured it with the steel tape. It holds up. It's
Yeah,
it's confirmed.
I'm starting to think I'm not that healthy.
No, man.
Hey, don't get down on yourself like that. That's not
Maybe
what this is about.
no, I'm just gonna eat more meat.
More
Yeah,
meat.
that's got
Put
it.
some more
Oh,
meat
that's
on
what that Mark Bell guy says. He said,
it. He looks
Hey,
nasty.
was yours possibly in metric? Is that why we got it wrong?
no,
Because you have the dual citizenship thing, so yours is in.
I'm smart enough to know that standard's way better than metric.
That's true. It's a good point.
Oh.
Yeah. Have you ever tried to do woodworking in metric? It's impossible.
Just found the title of this fucking episode, by the way. It's fantastic, right there.
Woodworking in metric.
metric. It's like, what the fuck did
I
they talk
guess
about
I
in
haven't.
Arnold?
No.
I don't know that I have. What would be the problem with woodworking?
Why would it
in
not be
metric?
better? I feel like it would still
it's
be better.
measuring.
Because
things,
it's not in fractions. It's all in just it's terrible.
decimals, which you can calculate.
Yeah, but
easier and it's consistent and
no.
I
Try
love the stand.
Try
I
it.
love how we measure things in America. Don't get me
Oh,
wrong;
yeah.
it's fantastic. It is not near as efficient as the metric system.
How do you?
I'm not going for efficiency. I'm just going for ease of use.
Ease of use, I'll give you that. How do your people build boats? Do they use metric or do they use?
I think they did it by like dick measurements or something. I don't know. That's why we had such big boats.
It's just,
Boats is big,
how much bigger do you want it? Just keep going.
but like I'm pretty sure the whole like American thing of measure twice, cut once. That's because we use the fucking standard measurements.
Yeah,
If you use the metric system, it's like no, you probably just measure once and cut once.
Let's do the ones. It's not gonna change.
It's pretty accurate.
Well, I think that's because maybe it used to be that the standard measuring system you measure twice because it might have changed in between the time that you measured the first time. Like
That's
like
true.
It's like three. It's
We're measuring by bushels or
a literal
hog lengths.
An inch is literally like 3 barley corns. Like that was the deciding factor for that. So that's what we're working with. So yeah, maybe at some point it's like measure it again because I don't know, it might be an ear of corn now.
Yeah.
Give it a go.
In other news, daylight savings this weekend.
God, that's everybody with children. That's their favorite time of year.
So wait, we're in spring, so spring forward. So
That's right.
So
well, that's better because the spring forward is better because when you fall back is when it's really a fucking nightmare, right?
That is a nightmare.
So Aveline wakes up at 4:30 anyway. So now it'll be 5:30.
Yeah. Well, then that'll be a little treat.
We'll be so rested.
It'll be such a treat. When does it happen? Tonight?
So rewarding.
Sunday.
No, it's
Sunday.
Sunday.
Sunday night.
2 a.m.
it wouldn't happen
Happens
on
at 2
Thursday
a.m.
night.
Okay. I don't know what day it is anymore.
It's okay.
I'm functionally unemployed here, Thor. I don't know what day any day is. I'm not sure.
So I got a question. Like, are we doing like a Highland Games podcast, or is this like one of your do anything whatevers?
I know,
Is this do heavy light whatever?
I just decide after I get it in the can. No, this is Heavy Light Podcast. We're here.
Fair enough.
We're 3 Highland Games athletes. We're 2.5. We're 1.25 Highland Games athletes sitting here talking about it.
We're in different subcategories, but yeah.
So you've done this Arnold Sports Festival thing, I think, more than any of us. You've
This will
competed
be
more than
my
anybody.
third time.
Do you still think that you're just getting invited because of your international flair?
Probably. I'm pretty sure the only thing I have going for me is my name,
Which is?
Thor.
Ah, yeah, that is.
And what's the last?
Oh, say it. Say
What,
it.
Gylfason? Or my full first name?
I hate it.
What, Thorbjorn Gylfason?
Thank you, because I'm such a I'm such a goddamn weeaboo for Iceland. I'm like,
What?
say-
I don't know what a weeaboo
A weeaboo is like somebody who's really an American dork who's into Japanese culture. So I'm basically that for Iceland. Like,
So
think
my
that there's
original
too many
retort
of
was
you
going to be
guys.
like, nobody knows what that means, but it's like, oh yeah,
my
you weirdos are
audience will
what
fucking
weeaboo
know.
is.
They will fucking know. Absolutely. It's like, oh yeah, that's me.
Weeaboos.
Yeah. So I think it has something to do with it. I mean, you are kind of throwing bombs, so that helps.
Yeah.
You're up there on the amateur rankings. Where are you
I'll
right
take,
now?
last year I was 17th.
There you go, top 20.
Yeah. Without having any outlier events that was any good. I'm just kind of like coasting in the fairly mediocre.
Some call it boring.
Across
We
the
call
board.
it consistent.
Yeah, okay.
Well, I had this talk with Mike. I had this talk with you earlier today about consistency, and as you get higher and higher up, or you get to more difficult competitions, it's not just about having an insane stone all
Being
of a
an
sudden.
outlier, yeah.
It's about, and I even self-deprecated, but also pat myself on the back, where I found myself on the podium even last year with having a very difficult health year, but I found myself on the podium a couple times because I was just consistent.
Yeah.
Like I didn't throw, God, I don't think I threw a PR all season last year, but I threw consistent. I didn't bomb out on anything, and I didn't throw crazy numbers. But as the competition gets stronger and stronger, consistency can pay dividends if you're looking at podium finishes.
If you place in the top 3 throughout almost every event, it's really hard to miss the podium.
Right. Right. Yeah.
It's really hard to miss the podium, and it's a good way to make a living, or especially as a pro, like quote unquote a living. It's a good way to survive. I mean, I've talked about before that, Matt Vincent was. He was a fantastic stone thrower. He's got a stone over 60. He's got lightweights over 90. You got to remember, the reason that guy won so much is he was very consistent. Because he wasn't always the bomb dropper on the field at that time. It's like, you're going to take at best second to Dan McKim in his era in hammers at best.
yeah.
And Dan may sneak out a weight or a stone once in a while. It can happen.
He threw
So-
plenty of 90s too.
yeah. So, but if you can be second all day, all right, you win. Here's your money.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Pull a good caber, pull a good sheaf.
It's this event's different though, man. And I've talked about this a lot of times. Is I really feel like this is kind of an early season exhibition for us
yeah.
because
I don't think kinda.
yeah, no, okay, no
Absolutely
kind
is.
of, because like all that kind of goes out the window that we're talking about, because we have 5 events here, and they're so vastly varied. Like it is for the men, 18-pound indoor shot. It's a heavy shot.
Or 20, right?
Yeah, we did 22 years ago and
That's
18
right.
last year.
I think they're
so don't
sticking
know
with
what-
18 now.
Yeah,
And the pros might do 20 still. I'm not sure. But it's a heavy shot, not a stone. It's a heavy shot, indoor shot, which most of us who aren't track and field have never thrown. And a lot of times people that are track and field, if they didn't do indoor, they didn't do very much of it, they're not familiar with it either.
It's still an awkward implement, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Heavy weight for distance, which is a converted track weight. So Dominator Athletics makes them. And the pros throw a bag.
Yeah, they still
That
do.
So
made
they're
by-
still doing that?
they're
Is
still
that
doing the
to
bag.
hold on to
Yeah.
because of Spencer's record with it, or what's
Spencer's
the-
record and Rogue supplies them, and Rogue's name is all over the pro event, and they're a big part of it. So I think that has a lot to do also. Rogue is supplying that, but then the amateurs throw that Dominator track weight. It's like a converted 35 pounder that's made 56 pound. It's got that tiny little handle. It's like on a spring. I
I think they put tungsten in there too. So
Yeah.
that thing probably cost close to $2,000 or
Extreme.
something.
It's the most expensive thing
God
you'll
almighty.
touch this season. Most
Oh
likely.
yeah, easily.
And then obviously you don't have any hammers because there would be murders. And then you throw a caber, but it's like a Braemar caber, and it's
no, it's a regular caber. I mean, you can get a decent run up on it.
Yeah, it depends on your style of running, I guess. Like I have to get to a full sprint over a football field to have a chance at anything. Yeah. So the being strong thing we go back to that helps. Mm-hmm. But it's a weird caber situation though because you do have to throw.
Yeah, you do have to. There is a line. You can't cross the line.
Yeah, you have safety, and then you have that heavy ass sheath. Everybody, the pros throw a 28, the men throw a 28. Women are throwing a 16. Lightweights are throwing a 28.
The 20, and this is completely coming from just preference, right? And you didn't throw. Did you throw at Stone this year or no?
No.
So Stone, it was like I've had quite a few embarrassing moments as an athlete, and then as
a husband and father.
As a husband and father, and career wise, as friends and everything, but. It was last year we threw at Stone Mountain, and it was just a torrential downpour the entire time. I'd never thrown into games where it had rained the entire time. I've been in games where it would start, it would stop. From start to finish, it was just raining, and it hung out in that weird, 40-degree temperature where it wasn't you're gonna freeze and you have to stop, but it wasn't so
never
warm.
Comfortable.
Yeah, you're constant. Your body was trying to fight to keep its temperature.
So I'm sorry to cut into the story, but where my mind goes is I'm really thankful that probably the people organizing the game had the forethought to put all the sheaves under cover and during the rainstorm.
Honestly, yes, they did. They had. The sheaf was under the tent, but it didn't matter. Like once you threw it the first time, it was landing in a puddle.
It's done.
And it was funny. So we actually weighed it afterwards, and I'll get to what the weight was after that. But we had the pro class pulling it. We had Wes is he's really good at sheaf anyway, and he's very strong individual. Wes Kaiser, yeah. So he's taken pulls on it, and I think I cleared the first. I was the first one to clear the first height, and I was like, well, I've won sheaf because no one else is going to do it.
That's all it takes.
And then it just took the worst nosedive where I couldn't get it off the fork.
Yeah. Yep.
But other pros who it turned out like being strong maybe helped when it was heavy as it was. Were clearing certain heights, and I think they ended up clearing 24 or something.
That's amazing in that condition.
Exactly, because it was raining and doing all that. I couldn't get it off the fork, and everyone was laughing at me. It was horribly embarrassing, but I rolled with it because I'm used to those.
Did your eye kill at the same time?
No, I mean there was so much going on. It would have been egregious at that point just to add something else silly. But we got done again. I think it was 24, 26, whatever. It ended up being the winning height. The bag weighed 31 pounds by the time we were done with it. I mean, just silly. And when I think about spinal rotation, and that's my terror, right? Is I've had lower back injuries before, and I'm constantly thinking about that during training, more so in the weight room than throwing. But how else can you injure your back other than taking something that's 31 pounds, trying to pull it from as far on your right side because you're a right-handed thrower, and then get it to go up high on your left side and up over you.
Standing, you're literally, a la Always Sunny in Philadelphia, you're literally standing up with a jerking, twisting motion. Is what you're doing when you are doing a sheep toss.
And if you're doing it competitively, you're doing it violently.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, thank you.
I won an A class with in the same conditions with a 22-foot sheaf one time against people that throw 36. It was like, yay! I did it because I'm the only one.
You better not pass on the opening height.
Pretty much. I never do anymore, by the way. What do you guys? How do you strategize that? I'm interested to hear that actually. Because Thor, how do you strategize opening? Let's just say sheaf. Let's start with that because weight over bar.
Usually on sheaf, I'll skip the first couple heights usually.
Yeah.
So if it's a 20-pound bag, I'll come in at 22, 24, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
With 16.
Which y'all don't see very much in the Southeast.
Yeah, they basically just outlawed 16-pound bags.
All y'all can throw sheaves to the moon in the Southeast. So, yeah.
And usually with that, I would start at 26.
Okay.
And I would consider 26 with the 16 a very safe, easy way to come in. How
about you? How do you? Because you didn't throw nothing but the 20 anymore being a pro.
Correct. So I come in at the opening height no matter what.
You do, yeah.
Because I have a different approach where the only strength that I have in sheaf is consistency.
Not missing.
I can hit those I can hit the lower numbers, the entry numbers, all the way up until about 28 consistently without misses. And then I don't have that additional gear right now where I can get to the next height. So I like coming in early. I kind of dial it in, but I feel I don't miss. So it kind of primes me for those bigger pulls when it comes to 28, when it comes to 30.
To find a stroke and then just add some power
right.
to it.
So that's what I'm doing. I'm basically measuring my punch for those 30-foot throws.
Okay.
On the lower throws, but I know I don't miss on those. And if you get someone who's just having an off day or they have a miss, and even when you get to 28 and all of a sudden we both clear 28, but they had a funky miss on 26. Well, all of a sudden now I'm beating them at points because
you can seriously win points that way. There's something to be said for it, especially if you're not the guy that going in is like, well, I'll get 34.
That's not me.
No, I don't throw the 20 very often since I kind of do more lightweight now. When I do, I come in as pretty much as low as I can with the 20-pounder. But with the 16, I come in pretty darn low. But if you have like a mixed group in the AMs and you're like running several groups together and they come in like sub 20, I'm not going to do that because that's just getting tired. But if everybody comes in at like 20 or 22, I'll go in.
Right. Because
I have, the same as you. I have a technique where I don't really miss wide. Like I just miss by not throwing high enough.
It's safe. It goes up and down. It goes behind you, and it goes over the bar.
That's it. There's not really a window for me to miss with the way that I throw. Like it goes up there, and then. But yeah, I do. I try to start as early as possible because I like the same thing as Aaron. I like to get dialed in, but I like to get a lot of check marks on the scoreboard. I like to do that. But now since we're throwing a 28 tomorrow.
Oh yeah, you're just coming at the opening height.
Yeah, there's no. I think everybody. There's no. So, okay, here's something that, luckily this will, nobody's going to listen to this until later, so they can get mad at me after the competition, I'm sure. Well, maybe, no, it's coming out tomorrow, so we'll see.
No, whatever.
So, there is I understand the reasoning for the heavy sheaf. I do. I get it. We have a 30-foot cap on what we can throw. Like, the first year we did this, Spencer hit the ceiling, and that's cool and everything, but it's not safe. And I get it, and the convention center they're not going to get down with that. So I understand putting the heavier weight sheep out there. You want to put a cap on what people can do because we have some bomb sheep throwers out there. People that can just rocket that thing. Mm. However, I get the 28 for the pros. I even get it for your group, to be perfectly honest. I think 28 is maybe a little bit much. 26, 28 is fine. The masters, okay, some of those guys can throw a rocket shot. Dickens can throw, a high sheaf. Like a lot of those guys can. The women, they moved from their normal sheep is 10. They moved them to 16. I feel like that's reasonable. The lightweight class normally throws a 16, and they moved us to 28. That's not going to be a good show.
No.
That's not going to be a good show. Right now, I think I'm tied for late last year, I have the best sheaf number on the board or whatever for lightweight, tied for it. There's plenty of other better sheaf throws. I just happen to have tied for the best one. I can't throw a 28-pound sheaf more than 20 feet. I don't think I can. I really don't think I can. I think we're going to find it.
I think only half of the A group last year cleared 20.
Yeah, I was going to say...
Maybe 14 then.
No, and
16.
It's, again, going back to where you said you'll come in wherever the group comes in, that's where you're going to come in at, right? But
10?
There's such a difference between... the velocity, particularly with speed throwers, right? And I can kind of talk about that. My career is not built on strength; it's built on speed, and I can't apply speed to a bag that's 28 pounds. I can't, and I don't have the torque. I guess that's the best way to put it. That's the best measurement of the type of force output. I don't have the torque to pull that. Now I have enough torque for a 20 pound, and then I have enough speed really for a 16 pound, but I think I think it's a disservice to the lightweight class when all of a sudden you just go, they throw a 16, we're going to skip all the way to a 28. That's a silly jump,
right? And especially when someone's offered to give you whatever weight sheaf you want,
right?
who shall remain nameless? No, it's me.
I would have to imagine that you're going to have lightweight, and this is no knock on lightweight. You're throwing at a lighter weight, right? So there's physics and there's different stuff happening, but you're going to have lightweights trying to throw that 28-pound sheaf who are going to be it's not a bicycle kick, but they're going to have feet coming off the ground, kind of like pony kicking to try and get again, what I was doing at Stone Mountain, I just didn't have the torque to get that 31 pound.
I got to create something.
Yeah,
out of this.
and so
it
it creates like silly, funny movements that really doesn't look athletic. And honestly, at the end of the day, it's not. But
yeah,
I think it probably would have been a better move to try and do a 20
or 22.
Or a 22, or add just a little additional weight to give maybe the convention center that warm and fuzzy that, hey, this thing's not going to go 30 feet. It's not going to do this, but. Yeah. A 28 pound is going to be a challenge.
And here's what bugs me. I'm like you. I've embarrassed myself plenty in life. I'm fine. Mm-hmm. If I clear 14 out there, 12 or something like that, and that's all I get to achieve, I don't care. That's fine. I can live with myself. What I hate, and it's not an issue now because we haven't even gotten to the craziness that's the Arnold, but anybody watching, that's not a good show.
Yeah.
Watching us try to clear 14 feet and then walking up and clearing higher than that with the weight over bar.
Right. Yeah.
Which is going to happen.
Yeah.
Stefan Dimitrigo is going to clear 16 at least.
Right.
Like, those guys are going to clear, pretty decent on that. I mean, I'll hit 15, 16, and we'll be throwing higher than a lot of people through the sheaf. It's just, sheaf is a great show for us, man. Sheaf is, we've talked about this a lot personally. Like, sheaf is a great show. It's like the event that nobody expected maybe 15 years ago, 20 years ago to be the hit at the festival. Everybody loves the caber, right? But the sheep is like, that's where you get the biggest crowd. That's where you get the biggest response and engagement from the crowd over long term. Right. I just don't think it's a good show to have people throwing 14 feet with it, man. It needs to be in the sky as much as you can get it up there.
I think it also shows it magnifies the differences between athleticism. And what I mean by that, and again, being a victim of a heavy sheaf myself at times, but I think we've all seen people, and newer athletes or novices that are getting to the sport, when they first throw sheaf, it looks very newborn calf. It looks very just and awkward.
Slow.
Right,
slow.
Slow. Hands are coming off the fork. It's more of like can I lift it and push it
shot
over the bar?
Yeah.
It's very awkward. And if you like the juxtaposition between that and like a really good pro sheaf thrower, it looks very violent and snappy, and it looks like a very athletic movement.
Yeah.
So to your point, I think where the festival is running the risk of making people look unathletic.
Yeah.
Simply because the weight of the sheaf.
They're just trying to struggle against
exactly
the back.
Because you do at that point you're like, I don't know what I can do, what else I can do to get this to go up.
Yeah.
And that does a disservice to the lightweight athletes there, who are really good fucking athletes.
Yeah, and like that's the other thing. Like, as an athletic director, I think we all kind of have this belief from the athlete side. I understand their deal; they're juggling 500 more things than we are every given day, but whatever you can do to make your athletes look good, especially your premier classes, like the ones, and everything's a premier class here. Like, this is all like top guys here, top guys and girls.
There shouldn't be any lightweight or am.
No, like
this is the Arnold. These are all.
This is the best we got to offer. This is some of the best we have to offer.
Absolutely.
Whoever could make it, these are the best we got. And Thor. But you should be, you should do whatever you can as an AD. Like, that's why. We talk about in the Southeast, I throw there, but I've thrown there plenty with you guys, is why do we need to throw big-ass, ugly stones that nobody can get into their neck all the time because of tradition? I would rather see somebody throw 57 with a fucking great stone than throw in the 40s or whatever with a meteorite that is shaped like a toaster oven. Yeah. Like, I don't know how you guys deal with that. And, like, I'm in a better position to just, I don't have to train for it, and I just get to show up and bitch about it. Like, once every couple of years, I come through at Loch Norman and basically just try to put like an encyclopedia into my neck and throw it as far as I can. And I just don't get that mentality, man. Why not find the best fucking rock you can? Because that's what's going to get good athletes excited. They're going to show up and put on big throws, and that's what sometimes is going to draw in better amateurs and pros. Maybe, I don't know. Are you guys as annoyed by that as I am, or is it just me being a visitor?
I don't know. I kind of like the stone at Lock, though. But I'm weird.
The year we threw together, you threw it pretty well, actually.
Yeah. It does. So it has a cube-esque side on it, but outside of that, it's very round.
Yeah, what?
Well, no. So there's.
It's very cubic, but outside of that,
no. I said it has a cube-esque side. There's one side that's flat, and as long as you don't put that against your neck or use that to push off of, it's basically just a larger round shot, and that's how I throw. And I neck tuck.
All right, where's the worst stone then? Where's the one that sucks the most?
Bethabra.
Psabbert is pretty bad.
In my yeah.
Wasn't there like a 28-pound stone over in?
So Stone Mountain has a big. Yeah.
I've never thrown there, so
and they let you throw it as an open, right? They're not saying it's a Braemar stone.
Yeah, you can move.
You throw it as
like
an open.
we've had. I think Kyle Lilly 2 years ago messed around and he like full spun it as a joke, but I think it's like a 28-pound. 28-pound stone. So, and I see both sides of it too. Like, as somebody who wants to see athletes come out and throw some bombs, right? Start getting into those mid 50s, somebody sniffing 60. You can't have an implement or stone that is too obtuse or is just too oblong or weird or heavy.
And that's it. And it's not the weight to a certain extent that hurts great athletes from throwing. It's the shape.
Size. Yeah, and if you look at
there's that stone in Virginia that's amazing.
It is. You mean the one I had 49.11 and a half on? Yeah, that's right.
Well, that's amazing. That's the maximum throw that anybody can ever throw. Is 49.11 and a half.
I've never had a bigger fuck you moment in the Highland Games than them pulling that tape and saying 49.11 and a half. I'm like,
perfect.
Come on.
Like, seriously.
Somebody give me that win.
Just lie to me.
But that actually is. It's a really good, it fits well. It's compact.
Tic Tac almost.
Exactly. And it fits well and it pushes well and it's right at 60, not an ounce above, not an ounce below. But
that's pretty.
To Mike's point, having those good stones can draw some good throwers as well, but it puts up bigger numbers, and besides that, it goes further to the crowd that maybe doesn't understand the difference between a 30, 40, 50, or 60. It just goes further, and that's all they see, and it's more exciting.
Yep.
So
I don't know. Like, we shouldn't be talking about standardizing implements. I give up on that battle a long time ago, and I actually disagree with the old version of me. I don't think we should standardize because I think that's part of the charm sometimes.
Yeah.
Right.
You threw in Scotland.
All the stones over there got standardized, so they throw just shot puts everywhere, almost everywhere.
Yeah.
So there's a couple.
They last longer too.
Yeah.
But
the weights for distance are not like they are these like just farm implement scale weight things that are.
So what's the point?
Nice, sometimes
not even chains a lot of time. They just the ones that look like an iron.
I mean, there's one that's like, I think it's like 20 inches long or 21 inches long, or it might be a little light. But like I know I threw that thing, I think close to 80 when I was like hadn't broke 70 yet. That thing was awesome.
That was probably just you having a great day.
Oh no!
Yeah, that's
they also have like there's a game over there that has like a 13 or a 14 pound hammer.
Oh man,
that's like super whipping.
Where exactly is it?
Yeah,
there's that Isle of Skye one, right? That's
you throw the
2 foot mace
that block weight.
I thought the Isle of Skye is the one that's like it's a super long chain. Like it's the lightweight for distance is like 2 feet long,
but
and then there's a little ball on the end. You can like turn 3
heavyweight in the
times.
wob is like.
Is that Isle of Skye?
This I think that's the other game where I threw it. I forget all the names of these damn things. But in Sky is the one where they have the actual block weight.
Okay.
Where it looks like a dumbbell that melted into just like a little block, so it has the dumbbell handle.
I've thrown one of those at Salado in Texas. They used to have one there. Sport kilt, y'all. Look, almost everybody I know in the Highland Games wears a sport kilt. It's just an obvious choice. It's a lightweight fabric. They don't carry a lot of stains easily because I put a lot of stains on them. And trust me, I usually just end up scraping them off. It's a combination of tacky, beer, whiskey, Scotch egg crumbs, everything. It's nice to be able to clean the stains off. I spend too much time on the stains. I understand that, but it's an important part of the kilt that you choose. SportKilt.com. You use code HEAVYLIGHT. You'll get 10% off your next purchase at SportKilt. I just ordered some new socks from SportKilt. That's one thing that mystifies me, by the way. A lot of people get socks from wherever, sporting goods store. You can literally get high-quality, affordable socks in a ton of different colors at SportKilt. So, again, use code HEAVYLIGHT. Go get you some socks. Get a kilt. Get looking right. Come on. That was our weight over bar implement.
Yeah,
it's actually not as bad as you think it would be.
It was pretty terrible.
You know what though? I was super brand new to the sport at that time.
Yeah.
So I was like,
didn't know any better.
If I threw it now, I'd be like, this fucking bullshit.
Well, but going back to what's the point of standardizing the stones by making it a shot put, but not
everything else?
Right.
I don't know.
It's such a mix, right?
They made that decision like a pretty far back. So I think it's been that way for at least
But,
like last
but even
20,
if you look
30
at
years.
it, so they're thinking like, well, we want to standardize the shot put portion of it, but we're still going to throw this fucking frying pan as the lightweight. We're going to do something weird. I think that's like the biggest thing that Highland Games throwers try and find. We try and find like continuity and consistency.
Yeah.
Like we just want to know why. So why is it this way? And every time you open a new door, it's like, oh well, there's no fucking reason.
Well, I think also
There's
a lot
no
of the-
like equation that just answers it for
Oh,
you.
we did
a
it
lot
that
of
way
the
last year.
consistency here comes from I think a lot of it comes from NASCA, where everybody wants to compare themselves, and there's the whole ranking thing over there. Where in Scotland, they don't have the ranking thing.
That's
It's
true.
like how far did you throw at each game. It doesn't.
Right.
You don't have like your PRs because all the weights are different, so you don't really care about it quite as much.
It's just what you do on the day. And I mean, that's kind
And
of
I mean, over here, everybody wants to throw the farthest because you have this ranking system.
decathlon points.
Yeah,
Well,
and-
yeah, and like, and that's the problem too. Is like your 45-foot throw with a 16 counts for as many points as my 45-foot throw with an 18.
Yeah.
You know, like that's how that
I mean,
system
there are
works
some
out.
weights over here, like some light weights that I'd love to go throw because I feel like I could just launch the shit out of them. Was it
Yeah.
Sputnik over there in Estes? And
Yeah.
there's a few other
Yeah,
ones where
that's
there's
like
just
the-
like
the- what did
super
they say,
good
the-
weights.
There's a
Altoids can on a big old
There's a
long chain.
mythical one that Mike Babb in Austin had forever, and it was a real beauty to throw. I couldn't throw worth a shit in the years it was available, and I really regret that. Like, I wish I could go back now, but it was literally like, it was like 16 inches of chain. Like, it's just like a little handle. You had to like turn sideways to make sure that you could get your hands in right. And there's literally like an Altoids tin. And like in the later like years of using it, like you had to like add chain links onto it to make it make weight.
Right.
You had to keep like the not like load bearing chain. You just had to hook them on, like do little snap links on the end. We were like, don't fucking change it. And now it's gone. We don't know where it is.
She gone.
Some asshole somewhere's using it as a training weight. Thinks he's a fucking monster.
Yeah.
I'm throwing 75 with this thing every day.
But yeah, so that kind of skews everybody's numbers on the rankings. So like, I mean, there's like the kind of the thing that makes the ranking system not work so well.
Yeah.
Because of but I mean, we're LARPing in fields in front of people.
Correct.
So I mean,
LARPing. We almost got through one podcast without
Without
saying
Without calling it
LARPing.
LARPing. Nope, not on this podcast.
But I'll say this though, like let's look at the state of where the Highland Games are in the U.S. Right, and we're pros are worried about games going away, right? I think
Yeah.
everyone's worried about games going away, but when we look at like Capermetrics and we look at stuff about new athletes coming into the
there's
sport,
so many athletes over
So
there.
many people trying it.
it's growing. And if you compare that to what's happening in Scotland now, where they're really having an issue with, from what I understand and from what you've told me or other athletes who've gone to Scotland have said, that they're having an issue drawing in newer, younger blood because it's so guarded. They're protecting the money.
Yep.
And I think maybe that's one way that NASGA or this standardization of how can we measure each other against one another is a very American thing,
And they, yeah.
which also pushes competition. It's like, okay, well, here's the standards that I can go against. I want to go in and I want to throw and I'm
and that's
better than
it's
this.
a very American way of doing it too.
And,
which is
and
like-
maybe it's why the health, even though I think we all feel like the health needs to get better.
yeah.
It's got a case of coronavirus here in Columbus,
Oh,
Ohio.
how
but-
topical. Look at that.
and it needs to get better. But I think that maybe the fact that we have somewhat standardized the actual weight of these implements and how it looks and how long it is has helped us at least draw in some more athletes.
Oh yeah, and I spent the whole last episode of this that I recorded talking about the next generation of people that are coming, and I think it's very easy to lose sight of that. But yeah, I spent Hayden's been in my podcast studio. We spent a lot of time together talking, and what he's working with on like HighlandGames.org, the HDO, to build a new highly functional database instead of the one that's limping along that we have now. And not just that, but people like that are coming in that are younger than any of us in this room even, that have the energy to actually do things instead of, fight through. And the time to do it, but also you're getting that new generation of athletic director. I'm rehashing old stuff, but Chad Clark talked about that. He's been big on talking about who's going to take the next generation of ADs, and I think they're out there. They're going to happen, and that's when you're going to start seeing things I think change for the better. Because if you get a critical mass with a new database like HDO, and you get new athletic directors out there that came from the sport a little bit, that have played recently, or that have just been close to it recently, or understand, the technological side of things, the game, the organizing, the logistics, keeping a festival alive. That's a big part of it. But a big thing that I think a lot of people forget about is the big festivals are driven by the clans, and the clans are they're all getting old and dying. Right. And are any of us at all interested in finding our clan name or our clan history and running a tent?
I mean, right. I did last year for,
for a hot minute.
11 seconds. But, I mean, it was just a fun, something else kind of spurned it as to why we went down to figure out our family heritage. But it was fun like that, but it wasn't so motivating the fact that I wanted to now
go join a club.
Right. Go travel on the weekends just so I could put up a tent and talk about the heritage of our clan and our ancestors. I don't see any generation picking up that. No.
And that's why this stupid thing that we're doing a mile from here is so important.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That this is an example of hey, this is a sport that can hang in this world. These are serious athletes out here. We're not, but at least we can look like serious athletes out there for a little bit. Spencer looks like a serious athlete out there.
He's looking trim.
I think he's dropped some weight. He's looking lean and mean coming into there. I think you'll see some bombs drop.
Just walking around, he looks fast.
Yeah, he's
Panther.
He's wired up. He's ready to pounce at any given moment. He looks svelte. Yeah, he dropped a little bit of weight, but I think. I don't know. This is me only theorizing from the coaching side, is that I think getting big and strong is super important, but I also think when you are at that level or you're at the pro level and above, there is a point of diminishing returns with your size.
Absolutely.
When if you're like Aaron, you're like 6'2", if you're at 300 plus pounds, you could probably still move pretty decent. You probably could, but once you start getting 320,
we'll get you there.
And you're far from there. You're 100 pounds from that point right now.
I couldn't, and I think it's based on each thrower as well too. I think I'm 6'1", I'm 6'2", but I don't think, and I know my frame doesn't want to have that additional weight. It doesn't want to be 300, so maybe I could get to 300.
And there are people that have never, Spencer, since he was in high school, he hasn't thought about being under 250 for a second. It's not been part of his life.
And his body's his cruise control weight is much higher.
Right. But my point is that I think there is a point of diminishing returns with that body weight.
Yes.
It's not like we're all the people at the top are training like professional athletes and have a camp and have all the people that are helping them stay in shape. They got real life too, and ballooning up is a real possibility, and getting in your own way becomes a possibility.
Yeah.
Getting so big that you get in your own way. Having that conversation with Hayden, with the Pirate Captain today, that I think you'll throw better at 285 and 290. But, get big and giant, see what happens.
Well, yeah, but he's so strong already. It's not like he loses 15, 20, 25, 30 pounds that it's just all of a sudden he's like, oh, I'm so weak.
Yeah, it's not, things like Sheaf and Wob and Caber aren't going to go away because of that. But is he gonna hit the 65 plus stones he thinks that he can? Is he going to do it? You might need to move a little faster for that.
Thor and I just had this conversation at Brewcadia, Craft Brew and Arcade Games.
.org.
We talked over there?
Columbus, Ohio. We did.
I thought there was just a sword
fight.
fight.
We talked about, there was a sword fight. We'll talk about that later.
Guys, I'm still pretty traumatized by what I had to do to that kid.
Before Thor and I had a good
competitive fencer, no less.
in town to compete in the Arnold.
Yeah.
Don't worry, everybody. There is lots of video on that with Dan Tennyson and I doing commentary. But before we found out Thor was going to die from hypertension
Rest in peace, Thor.
at a grocery store.
I think it's from all the falls I've been doing at the games lately.
Yeah.
You had a couple.
I haven't mishaps.
I would like it if you did a different shtick than the fall over guy. I get it. It gets views, right? That you keep falling down. But
Tosh.0 is not a thing anymore.
Yeah, I was on there, though.
But it's not a thing anymore.
It's not a thing anymore.
There's no Tosh to
That was
put
a
it on.
decade ago. That show was on. That episode was on, I think, 10 years ago this summer.
Yeah, and that was 100 pounds ago, too, at least.
Yeah. Just about 90 pounds ago.
Ooh. Yeah. So
back when I could throw the lightweight 47 feet.
Ooh, with that high steep orbit you were rocking back then, I don't know I don't know how I didn't go to the fucking moon. That thing was.
I had never used tacky at that point.
No.
Definitely wasn't using any that day.
But you were a little known fact about Thor here is that his goal was at one point to be the lightweight national champion of the Highland Games. That was
What's that? You've
2000.
been fat since I've known you.
06, 07?
No,
No, it wasn't that long ago, was it?
it would have been, I think, 2010, 11, when I was still kind of skinny. But that's when they had the 190 class. And
Yeah,
I
it was
like,
190 then.
ugh.
Yeah.
And then I kind of gave up on it and decided to just get fat and happy. And
Yeah.
actually throw some
Eat
decent
steak,
weights.
get that blood
And
pressure
then
high.
after that, they changed it to 200, which I think I would have been able to do it at 200. But 190, I think. I mean, I'm not tall by any means, but
Yeah.
being 190 at my sub 6 foot height was still kind of,
It's a little daunting. If they would have kept it at 190, I would have never done it.
yeah.
I'm already having not much fun cutting weight for Saturday right now because I'm 40 as fuck. My body doesn't want to let go of anything anymore, and I can't imagine if I had to make 190. And I can't. Like, my body wants to be like 215, and I have to like constantly beat it into being sub 210 now. Like, it is. I can't imagine. Like 190. Good God, that's.
Whoever made that number up, I don't know why. That's such a weird number.
So it's
too.
just like everything else in the fucking Highland Games.
Yeah, there's
One
no
fucking
reason.
guy decided. I don't remember who it is anymore, but it was one fucking guy in the Midwest that just decided they're going to do a lightweight class as like a developmental class for younger guys or whatever like that, and they just randomly picked 190 because it would fit the dude that they were doing it for. And then everybody said, and now because of that one fucking guy. Or the two fucking guys, I guess, that were conspiring.
This is how we've been doing it for centuries.
You had years then of people arguing about what that weight limit should be.
Back
and
on the
like,
Nazca forum
slamming
arguments?
fists on tables in front of their computers or yelling at people in person about, it can't be fucking 200. We're not powerlifting. We don't need to. Like, 190 has been the tradition. It's not a fucking tradition. Some dude named Randy decided it was fucking 190. It's always a fucking guy named Randy, by the way. It's just some Randy decided, like, well, you know, my cousin T-Bone would like to come throw, and he weighs 189 pounds, and I think he'd be good at it. I don't know why he's from fucking West Texas or East Texas. I don't know why, but that is the most Highland Games thing ever. That just a dude decided it, and now we spent years arguing. Like, I had to make a strong case for, like, 200 just makes sense, man. It's a round number. Honestly, 220 makes a lot of sense because it's 100 kilos.
Yeah.
And also, people that do the sport fucking work out. It's hard to be under 220
It's
pounds.
tough to stay. God, I can only imagine 190. That'd be. So think about it. If you had to cut 14 pounds right now instead of 6 or 6, whatever you have to do to get down.
Oh, God, what if I just had to gain 4 pounds? That'd be fucking amazing. Just to fill out the weight class. That'd be neat.
But I think that's the other end that you started with is that athletes have to find that sweet spot where there's diminishing returns. And with my personal experience, I found that sweet spot. Actually, I think I'm finding it right now. But I was of the mindset 2 years ago when I first turned pro that, listen, weight moves weight, right? And I get it.
Everybody goes through that.
Yeah, it actually is. I mean, it's true. And I did it somewhat in a responsible way. I didn't just eat trash. I was still eating clean, but I was trying to just gain weight, and I got up to 265 was as heavy as I got, and it didn't translate. It didn't translate in the weight room.
Like, pound for pound, it doesn't do what you think it's going to do.
Correct.
Yeah,
and
you
for
have
me,
this
it
high
didn't.
hope that it's
Right.
going to, but then it doesn't, and you get super frustrated.
And yeah, you get pissed off, and beside that,
hopes, like, I'm gonna fucking gain you.
and you feel bad. You're just like, and
Like, my blood pressure is 170 over 98 now.
I'm gonna die at a
pretty
gas
good PR,
station
though.
in
You have to give me
Columbus.
that.
It is. Congrats, man.
Yeah.
But then, so everybody has to kind of find, and I'm not saying people shouldn't go through that process. Like, if you think adding some clean weight is going to help you throw, sure, give it a try. If you can do it in a healthy way, give it a try. If you can do it in a semi-healthy way, give it a shot. But there's other things that were going on in my life over the past couple of years where it made more sense to, hey, don't do that.
Hey, moron.
Hey, don't be 265. And lo and behold, it turns out that, well, I'm actually throwing or feeling and throwing in practice a lot better at 230 or closer to 225 than I ever have.
Fucking fast right now.
But that's all I have is speed. I don't have strength. I don't have talent.
But hey, also when the
That's
implement
speed.
goes faster, it goes farther. So that there is a balance point, and that's the beauty of this whole thing is like figuring out the strength and speed equation. But you look so fucking fast right now.
And I appreciate that. But I think it's every athlete's. They have the right to figure that out. That balance, right?
Sure.
Okay, maybe their speed, maybe their strength. I'm not telling anyone don't go out and gain weight. I am telling people be a little smart. You know, obviously, like you and I we have some bigger picture things.
Yes.
You know,
don't sacrifice your health for the fucking stick
because
throwing.
you procreated. You want to live longer.
A little bit. I
Fair
think
enough.
so.
Maybe I'll feel that way.
Well, maybe you want to procreate?
I mean, with you.
We'll make it happen.
It's 2020. You guys can do whatever you want.
You've seen a
true.
red Kong?
There's a couple of penguins.
So let's talk about predictions. Okay. When I said you can talk about anything, I meant anything but that. Let's talk about predictions. Let's do an actual, this is a Highland Games podcast thing. All right.
Okay.
So pro men. They're kicking it off tomorrow. Pro men tomorrow. Let's see, the field. I don't have the field up in front of me, but I should know. It's
Spencer, Dan, Chuck.
Spencer, Dan, Chuck, and then the ladies are
Adrian, Nikita,
and we're assholes. We're assholes for not knowing all these people.
It'll come to me in a second. I'm sorry.
Okay, so they're doing a team event. This is
How's
why
that going to be set up?
This is why it's and I don't really know. That's the funny thing. We're going to be out there we're going to do our best to live stream and everything like that. We're going to do all that stuff, but I don't really. I know that it's probably just going to be combined distances. I would imagine.
Yeah.
I'd imagine that's how they're going to do it. But they've got them teamed up. Let's see if we can pull up. Can we try to find who the teams are while we're doing that?
It's Alyssa. Jeez.
Oh God. Yeah, we talked about her all day and then left her off the podcast. Oh yeah, listen to it and whatever it is.
Horrible.
Yeah, I don't know who the teams are, but I mean, you got to figure Spencer's odds on to put up the best distances for the men still, until he proves otherwise. Until something changes on the field and you see something different, you have to assume
right
that he's going to run rough shots. Chuck and Dan's pretty interesting. If Chuck is healthy, which he hasn't been for the last couple of Arnolds, Chuck can drop bombs, especially with the weight. Like Chuck's thrown.
He's thrown 50.
He's thrown 50.
Wasn't he the first to break 50?
Yeah, it didn't make the implement didn't make, but not by much. It's not like it was it was a 48 pounder. It missed by a little, but he threw 50. So he can drop some bombs on the weight. It's totally possible. So him versus Dan is an interesting one. Dan has at the last Arnold put on a hell of a show. There was never you felt like Spencer was in danger, but there was always somebody there with him.
Dan was nipping.
He hung around at the higher heights. He made it seem like he could come steal an event, and that's a big deal. Dan's fucking talented, man. He's a big boy and he's talented.
I think just honestly, like we've talked about, everyone throwing tomorrow has the capability of really putting on a great show.
I agree.
I'm biased as well and a fanboy of Adrian.
Yeah,
because
and she's paired with Spencer too, so that's gonna be a strong fucking team.
She has been she's been one of my coaches since I started the game because she lives in South Carolina. She lives in KC, and I used to drive down there just to get coaching from her. So I've always been a fan, and watching her throw stone is always one of my favorite things because her glide is just
it's pretty.
It's so clean,
it's pretty.
And that snappy, almost rotational finish that she has, where she doesn't reverse.
Yeah,
it's just
and it's not a drill. That's what she just does not reverse, and she doesn't need to.
No, she gets power from those legs through it. So you have that. Obviously, she's a great weight thrower. You have Nikita, she's a great weight thrower too, and she's really good at sheaf.
It's Nikita and Dan, isn't it? Aren't they the team?
I think so.
I think so.
And Nikita can pull a sheaf. She's
She's so strong. She's so strong.
Cut her hair, looks good.
Oh man.
So she's lighter.
Her uniform's coming in sleek and svelte. That's right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know, man. And you know what? I've seen Alyssa throw enough to understand that she's extremely consistent.
She has a really good stone too. If you watch her, the technique of her stone is really good. Her weights are good. I haven't seen her throw much.
I watched her throw weight the last time that I watched her throw, and it's fucking beautiful.
They're all just so good at staying long and that separation all the way through the finish.
Yeah, and so that's gonna be her and Chuck then. It's really hard to deny the Spencer and Adrian team, but Nikita throws wrench in that because Nikita can win and she can drop bombs, and then if you add that with Dan nipping at Spencer's heels, that could be pretty damn competitive.
If Dan finds a way to take some points from Spencer's lap, because we know Dan can throw a big stone.
Yeah, he's through 60 as an amateur a couple times.
If he gets,
he's stolen a stone from Spencer like once, I think. And
if he gets one out there and he steals some points there, he can.
And he glides too, man. He's got a big long glide.
I mean, gliders are the best, by far.
Obviously the best possible athletes that can be.
Just how it works.
All right, going through. Let's see who else we got. We got some of the Broken Caber guys doing a demo. They're not true on competing, but they're going to be doing a demo, so that's pretty rad. Matt Hall's going to be out there. Just
Thorbjorn's athlete.
If you want to see that an adaptive athlete that is a fucking monster, you should.
Well, then we get him throw a 28-pound chief.
I hope not.
God, I wonder what they're making him throw. But you know what? He'd fucking throw.
He'd fucking do it.
Yeah.
Matt, you put something. Matt doesn't give.
No, he doesn't.
He just throws it, man.
He's
hammers, weights, stone.
All those dudes, and they're out to party, dude. They're just like, they fucking throw. Masters men. Let's see, we got this: Andrew Hobson, Jeff Dewar, Josh Beatty, Kevin Truesdale, Lanny Pullen, Mark Jaros, Matt Clary, Michael Dickens, Trevor McMurray, T.J. Watkins. So we got two boys from y'all neck of the woods. We got Trevor and T.J. out there.
We talked about this earlier. T.J. I know was injured.
Yeah.
TJ, he and I have trained together a couple times too. He's
hunted turkeys together too.
We've hunted turkeys. Hopefully we'll do it again in April. I feel like he's on the cusp, so he's in that point where, in my opinion,
you got to remember how new TJ is.
Exactly. Oh, yeah. He's going through those frustrating things where he's having so many mental battles as he steps up to throw something. He's removed his natural athleticism from
yes. When you add 2 and 3 cues, the natural athleticism goes away.
And TJ's he was a legitimate professional
football
NFL
player. Yeah.
So he's so damn good, and I think once he gets past that hurdle of okay, he's now downloaded or uploaded these cues, and he can kind of remove thinking about the cues in the trig, and it just becomes athletic and reactionary again.
But I don't think health-wise he's there. He can be there this weekend.
No, yeah, he definitely. So what it was, I think it was a right leg injury.
Yeah.
It was like a stress.
You don't
fracture.
use that much when you throw.
Well, we don't. But.
No, athletes do. And Trevor's a national champion in the 50 to 54, I think. But I think with this group, he's going to get swallowed up a little bit.
He's got a good sheaf, though.
He's got a really good sheaf. That's where and he can throw wob too. Yeah. But I think his stones and weights, since he doesn't have any other places to make up, I think that's going to hurt him. I think he's going to swallow it up. I've thrown with some of these guys, not all of them. Dewar's a monster of a human being and incredibly strong, but I think just the events that we have is going to hurt him. Right. He can turn any caber on the planet, any Masters caber especially. He throws a big sheaf. He's a 34 with a 16, so he'll throw pretty big.
That's a great pull.
Yeah, and he's a 17 guy. He's been a 17 guy. No, I think he's been stuck at 16 with the weight of a bar, but that's with the 56.
Oh, so he's been stuck at 16?
Yeah. So he's going to be throwing bombs with the 42. But Dickens is sitting there. And I just, if he's healthy, I don't see anybody in that class that can put together a full 5 events.
But, Dickens, what he really has going for him is that he invented big beards.
That's true, yeah. So, like, all these guys need to pay homage to that.
All of us bald bearded guys.
Yeah. I'm glad somebody started it. I'm glad Thor. Think about that. You wouldn't have the freedom to sit here with that beard.
That's true.
Had Michael Dickens not invented
blazed the beard trail for you.
Think of the abuse he had to take so that you could sit there and have that beard. I feel like
when did he start throwing?
1981.
No, he didn't
start till he was like 36.
Yeah,
he started later
36,
than
37.
I think he may have started right around the same time I did.
I think that's believable. He'd been on the scene for a few years when I came in like 2011. So he was 36 and he's 48, 49 now, I think.
Yeah, he's sniffing 50.
He's been at it for a while.
He's back to a MSA, or is he doing full spin? No, I think he was practicing full spin.
He messed with the full spin, but I think he's going to go MSA, especially with that bigger shot.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's got good, consistent stones. He can drop bombs with the weight, and he's
turn that right hip, Mike. You know what I'm talking about. He and I talked about it.
Girl,
send him a message unsolicited.
Yeah, I'll make sure to put these earphones in. And listen to this quick.
Listen.
And Sheaf, he's hard to beat, and Wob, he's consistent enough. Caber, he's turned so many cabers. It's just I can't see anything can happen, man. It's just hard for me to see Dickens not winning that class tomorrow.
It's tough. What about those AMs? Do we attack AMs?
Oh, yeah.
Is Thor going to win?
Should I leave the room for this part?
No, you can.
Men's Open. Let's see. We got Chris Snodgrass. I do not know Chris.
I don't know him either.
Is he one of the guys that maybe won their
I may
qualifier
have
here?
thrown with him before. But
That doesn't mean anything. It's Eli Kiner, Eric Spence, Hayden Ballio, the Pirate Captain, John Van Buren, Justin Blatnick, Kendall Thomas, Nick Aston, Sean Burns, and Thorbjorn Torpi.
yeah.
Torpi Gylfason.
Torpy.
Torpi.
Where's Justin? He's the guy that owns the pizza place, right?
He's got a really good sheet.
Aldo's Pizza out of Memphis, Tennessee.
And I will say this, I'm not just going to poo-poo on Justin because we do that plenty on our text messages we shoot him.
Mm-hmm.
But Justin's weights have really...
Yeah, last time I threw weights with him,
They're technically
I
at
was
Greenville
surprised.
this last year, and last May.
Oh, he beat me at Greenville last year.
They
That was
looked-
a great game.
They look sharp.
Oh yeah, he looks
Yeah.
super smooth with it.
Like, so I haven't... he had been posting much throwing video, which could be... there's
Strategy.
a reason behind that, right? You
Right.
don't want to let people know where you are, but he
I could see him
really
sneaking
started
up
to
in that
connect
group.
on his weights.
And throwing that 56, I could see him sneaking up in that
he's
group. I
strong
really
as
could.
shit, dude. He's...
Yeah, I hate that about him. Who else? John Van Buren, I don't know much about. I know that he's been throwing big.
Yeah,
His
I thought
family
he's-
invented the railroad,
Yes.
the Van Burens.
The Van Buren Railroad. I don't know. These are pretty big numbers. I haven't looked.
Yeah,
up
he's got a
his-
really good stone.
He's
His
big, right?
weight-
He's a big boy.
He's a big
tall guy. I think his sheep is inconsistent, but I think that's just because he's new to the sport.
Yeah,
He's got a
weight
big
over-
wob.
His wob, I think he's cleared 17 a few times.
that's so high
It's absurd. It
That's
shouldn't
silly
even be
for
possible.
a year one. That's for
That's-
a year 10.
for a
that's
year.
silly.
Anybody, that's ridiculous.
So I think he's definitely going to have a great games, and I know he has aspirations for the next level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kendall Thomas, speaking of next level, I think Kendall just competed at North South, and he's a hell of a thrower and a hell of an athlete, and I think he's got good numbers. I think
He's probably going to win heavy.
I was going to say his
his
heavyweight is
His heavyweight is really good. I think he's throwing, 43, 44?
Yeah,
that
he's
can
throwing some
win
big ones.
for sure.
I mean, I think maybe a couple guys will go over 40 tomorrow.
Yeah. I don't know a lot of the other guys. I apologize to y'all out there. I don't know a lot about you because I didn't spend the time looking in the database. I know the odds-on favorite to me, which we discussed before the
Oh,
podcast.
the girthy one?
Yeah, I think the Pirate Captain is with the events that you have, he's gonna be hard to beat. I don't think if he's anywhere near where he should be, he's not gonna be touched in stones. I don't know Van Buren. Maybe he's got a big stone in him. Maybe he's got.
Eli had a really big stone here last year.
He did.
Yeah.
Huh.
I'm pretty sure he had a big stone here last year.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember.
Yeah,
I now
that's
remember,
pretty high.
and that's funny. I remember who he is. We saying that too. But I mean, Hayden was he was a D1 shot putter.
Oh, yeah.
You're throwing an 18. You're throwing a shot put.
I mean, the rest
indoors.
of us are competing for second place.
Yeah, you're throwing an 18-pound shot put indoors with the guy. His heavyweight, he's in the 30s. I think he's got a 40 in him. Obviously, I don't know. Caber's the interesting one for him because he's just a less experienced Highland Games athlete. But the last time I saw him turn Cabers, he looked all right.
Yeah, which I mean, the caber at the Arnold is a little different since you do have that space constraint. You can't cross the line.
Yeah, you got to have control, and
Oh,
that's for a newer thrower. The pick and the control is the harder part. The turning is whatever. If you're powerful, you can get there. Like I'm like the inverse of a Hayden. Like I can pick everything and hold
pick
it.
all
Like,
day,
I
just-
can't turn it. And then Sheaf, he throws bombs. And then Wob. Wob's going to be. You know, it's actually I say I have Hayden as the favorite, but now when I run through each event, it's not like he's going to blow everybody out of the water in Wob in that group either. If you got Van Buren throwing a 17, some other guys throwing 16, I think
Yeah, a
Hayden
couple.
throws a 16, 17. So
Yeah.
My advice for Wob, if they do it the same as well too, and I remember this from 2 years ago.
2 years ago, yeah.
Watch where it lands. Once you pull and throw, because it bounces off
Oh,
that
yeah.
horse, that 56 will come and smash your
get you
fucking
right in the
ankle.
Achilles heel.
Yeah.
Somebody got knocked with it a little bit last year. Was it Scott maybe? No,
I don't know.
I
I just
think-
remember
they
like
broke either one or two of the weights last year.
Yeah, it's
like
a-
how it bounces,
hard
it's
surface.
coming screaming, and if that
Oh yeah.
And it's
smooches your ankle,
If you're trying to be like too cool for school and be like, ooh, yeah, you're gonna.
and it's a block weight or like it's a block, right? It's not
Yeah,
a
it's
block,
just a
so
regular
it's
weight.
just gonna bounce everywhere. Let's see what else we got. Women's Open, so pretty good group here. I don't know some of them. I apologize. Ali Zaskovsky, Ashlyn Halverson, Alyssa Hapner. So she's not throwing them. Wait.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. Different Alyssa. Did we?
Yeah, she's throwing in the pro class.
Don't you have the list right there? Just look
It's
at it.
women's open. Alyssa Hapner.
No, she's not in the. She's throwing in the press.
I mean, the Great Lakes has her listed on there. We should probably figure some of this stuff out.
Whatever.
Emily Adams, Jamisa Sanu, Janine Questner, heavy light athlete, Mandy Hart-Voorhees, Sarah Lynn Bliven, Stacy Snow, and Susan Sherman. I actually know less of them than I expected. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. There's a lot of names that I don't recognize.
I think that's a good thing.
That there's
I think
more.
that's the
that there's this
expansion of
many
the women's
good
class
throwers
in the
showing up.
Sport, yeah, absolutely.
So who is the women's pro class if Alyssa's throwing in the open?
Well,
You gotta
maybe she's doing both. I mean, the women are throwing on Saturday.
That's true. I guess they're maybe
I
she's
guess she's double dipping.
could she do both? I guess she could. There's all those posts. That's so funny that we came here. Like the plan was for Aaron and I to be like announcers and commentators for the pro class tomorrow.
For
And
all
like,
the spectators?
Yeah, and we're like, I think we know everybody here. Maybe.
Oh, you guys are going to need to make some flashcards in the morning.
Probably will. Yeah. That's
Hey,
fine.
by the way, it's the morning.
Yeah, it's it is currently the morning.
All right, hold on here. I'm looking.
I mean, I gotta say, Alyssa's a favorite in that group. She's throwing.
I told you, Alyssa. She's throwing.
Yeah,
with
she's
Chuck.
she's on the team with Chuck. Okay, so we're right about that. So
And
maybe
then
she,
it's Adrian and Spencer and Nikita and Dan.
Okay, so maybe she's just pulling double duty. I don't know. Well, she's got to be a favorite then. Emily can throw. I mean, Emily can give her a run for her money.
She got a great. Emily has a really good sheaf.
Yeah, she does.
She has great weights too.
Yeah, she's strong. That helps a lot, right? Being strong, actually being able to throw things high.
Technically.
And then
Alleged.
we talked about men's lightweight a little bit. It's actually a much heavier group than I thought it was going to be. For like not heavier, physically, but you got Austin Rhodes, Chris Sickler, Dale Andrew. Dale Andrews from Canada. He's our Canadian representative.
Canadian.
He's a lovely guy. David Marble, Mark Wechter, Matt Adams, Emily Adams' husband, Mike Beach, Stefan Dimitrica, 2016 world champion. And
You guys notice how he doesn't have eyebrows?
Stefan or Mike?
Mike.
oh, Stefan's got him.
We opened up with this.
Yeah, I'm just seeing
It's
if
a
you
callback.
remember.
It's a callback joke.
Oh, I wasn't listening.
It doesn't matter. None of this matters.
So
call me
I
Smith or
did
Jones or
not
something.
realize that Mark Wechter was not throwing masters. I didn't realize he was throwing lightweight. He's gonna fucking curb stomp all this. Like he's a fucking monster. Like he's gonna.
Oh,
he's,
yeah.
I mean, that's your winner. That's it. Mark's a monster.
I don't know if I know Mark.
Yeah, I don't know if you do either. I'm trying to think of a time where you two
He
would
kind
like to.
of looks like you if you were to shave.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Good
if you're a
for
little
him.
bit older.
He sounds handsome.
And if his head was normal size, like
Oh, yeah.
yeah, that
we
would
all
help
can't be
also.
perfect.
Well, Mark Wechter can.
He's gonna be.
I mean, it's fun. It's a fun group. I think like 4 years ago, I would have been fun to watch in that group. But Stefan's a world champion. I mean, he could throw. He's thrown a shot put 47 feet. I know at like 190 something, whatever. Willis Graves is a monster. Like he's at the top of the lightweight rankings right now. Matt Adams.
He's
is
also
top.
17. How old are you? How old is he? He's young.
Willis Graves. I don't know. Let's pull
I
this.
threw with him 2 years ago.
Oh, he does look like a baby.
2 years ago, we threw in St.
I've
Louis.
never met him. I say that like half the people I say I've never met. They always
Never met
message
him.
me
Like
later,
Mike,
like,
you're coaching him.
like, yeah, we threw together last week. Oh yeah, sorry.
He's actually a really good guy. He's a good thrower. Technically, he looks really, really clean. His weights are really long.
Yeah, well, I don't like him then.
Oh.
Yeah, how's that?
Good enough reason.
But yeah, Stefan can throw. Also, there's this weird European block of like wob throwers that can all throw the 42 like 17 feet, and he's one of them. So it's a big reason that I lost to him in 2016. But I don't know, man. It's a lot of killers there, but it's just really hard not to pick Mark. I mean, again, 4 years ago I would have given myself a chance, but not right now. But I think it'll be competitive. I think and that's kind of the cool thing looking at a lot of these. Very few of these can I make a case that anybody's just going to run away with it. Like it's just going to be an ass kicking, except for
Old girthy.
Mark Wechter
Except for
and
what you're going to be throwing in
But
tomorrow.
when I got into it, though, I don't know if Hayden can run over everybody.
Yeah.
Like you can split enough events, and you could get some weirdness going on at the end of the day.
That's true.
Like I think but yeah, he is big and strong and powerful, and that does help his case a lot.
Good
I mean,
music.
if I'm going to
Yeah.
He's got
bet
good
any money
music.
on anything.
Well, Thor, you have a chance.
Maybe at breaking into the top half.
I think. Where'd you finish last year?
7th.
7th.
And that was mostly because of misses.
Because of your lady? Is that what you're saying? No. Because of the misses?
Yeah. Just blame it on your
lady, for third 2 years ago, and then we had to do some stupid pole push. And
where Garrett got beat?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I wonder if Garrett even remembers that.
I don't know.
I have the video in case he doesn't.
We should.
I also have the video from the same year where he lost to his brother at Stone Mountain.
Yes.
I'll also have video come April when he beats me at long. So.
Now, you know what? My phone stopped working that day.
Weird.
It's so weird. It's a cloud issue. They have a real problem with these clouds nowadays. Well, we didn't even get into any of the Arnold stuff, but everybody's got sources on everything else for that. They've shut it down, they opened it back up, and they re-shut it back down. So we're throwing and commentating and having fun in front of just other sports tomorrow.
Yeah, I think that's really the best, and I'm sure you and I will have plenty of conversation over the next day or two here, being at the Arnold in the Thorbjorn capacity, and we'll be broadcasting by the time this comes out. When is this coming out? Tomorrow. So
today.
Hopefully, today, in the next 10 minutes. But Mike and I are trying to figure out what we're going to do here on the ground to try and get as much exposure to the brand as we can. We're going to switch to more of a social media mindset.
Yeah.
And hopefully you all are listening to this podcast and you're watching us on Instagram Live and Facebook Live. But it's a shit show. I think we're fortunate because we probably lost less of an investment than a lot of other people did at the Arnold.
Yeah, we didn't come with $30,000 worth of inventory.
Right, yeah. A caravan of people bringing inventory and talent and booth fees and all that stuff. And really it's just because we're completely lazy and didn't do anything to get stuff ready for the Arnold.
We just bought Thorpe.
Yeah, we brought the Torpedo
and we're not gonna lose anything really with as long as
we'll probably lose Thor if his blood pressure stays this high.
Need to drink some water.
Yeah. Yep.
Heavy Light is brought to you by Throwbros. Throwbros is the only online store for Highland Games athletes. Gear up, get throwing. Use code HEAVYLIGHT, all one word. You're going to save 10% at throwbros.com.